Hello everyone, my name is Ark and welcome back to another anime figure review. In today's video, as you can see, yes, we have our first Albedo of 2025. We have the Albedo lingerie version from Claynel. Now this one is a very interesting one because I really wanted her when she initially came out, and I don't remember if I pre-ordered her previously, but this was one that I really wanted, and now it's here. So let's get her out and see how she looks. Alright, so as we can see, we have here ourselves with, I don't know what I'm talking about. I'm being mesmerized by the beauty of Albedo right now. So you guys can see, she looks really good, especially for a 1/7 scale figure. All Albedo figures look really good one way or another. So this one is the lingerie version. So of course, she does have lingerie throughout the entirety of her body, which is quite insane to say the least. And I really like the way that they did this. So as you can see as well with the turntable right here, this one actually has a perfect balance on the turntable. So moving on into my little categories for this type of video, we are taking a look at accuracy. And I gotta say, this is probably one of the more accurate looking Albedos, like in terms of the face. And even the wings look really good. It's like, they're very well detailed. Although some of them could have been done a little bit better, they don't really have like many deep details, like deep carvings for the actual feathers, which it's kind of a bummer, especially for a very expensive 1/7 scale. But besides that, I really like the gold accents that they're using for the lingerie and the white matte finish that they have for pretty much the rest of the outfit. Her skin tone is also really good. The horns are glossy, which is really nice. So everything else in terms of accuracy is really good. I will say the hair is also another thing that's kind of like interesting about this figure, because she doesn't have as much hair, like super heavy weighted down hair, which is really nice to say the least, and a very interesting choice for something like this, for a figure like this. So you'll see a lot of pictures towards the end, or even right now, with just going more in close detail to the actual lingerie, the wings, and even just the face as well, and perhaps other areas. So yeah, overall I think in accuracy she actually looks pretty good. I'm like trying to look around her as well while the turntable goes. The face is a really well done face sculpt. I think she does have some lipstick from the looks of it, but not too much, so that's really nice. But yeah, I really like how they did it. And moving on to the quality, this figure does feel like it has good quality. I don't think it's much of an issue. I really like how they made the wings. It's a very interesting way of doing it, because they actually kind of like go all the way down below the actual stand itself, or the actual disc where she is supposed to be placed at, which is very interesting, a very interesting way of doing it. The base itself has like actual felt on it on the surface, which is really good. There is sort of like a warning where you might get some paint transfer from the felt onto the actual figure, and because the figure is completely white, you might end up having some stains here and there depending on the situation that you're at. If you have a pretty reasonably temperatured room, then you should be perfectly fine. If not, you might want to figure out how to take care of this figure in general, or if you want to just make a completely new base for it, I think that would be another option. But besides that, this figure is not that heavy. This figure felt very lightweight, and it makes sense, especially compared to the other 1/7 scale figure for Albedo that I took a look at a couple months ago. So yeah, I think the quality is really well done. The paint job is amazing. The wings, again, just kind of like the sculpting of them could have been done better, but because other companies definitely do better. But this is my first figure by Claynel, so it's nice experiencing something for the first time, especially with how good she looks as well. And now, moving on into value, this figure is quite expensive. The only reason I have this in my hands right now is because I've been waiting for this figure for a couple of months, a month and a half. Technically, I got it like half a month ago, like 2 weeks ago, but I have been waiting for it for a while. I got this girl over at Hobby Genki during their Black Friday sale. I think she was $110, which was like super cheap. This figure is upwards $250 in some websites, especially since it has not released in the US. So US conversion rates are completely different in Japan, and this one was on sale for I think it was $90 actually, on the Hobby Genki website, and I took complete advantage of it because I really wanted this figure, but I was not about to spend $200+ for it, especially for a 1/7 scale figure. If it was 1/6, that's another story, but it's a 1/7. That 1/7 is never worth $200+. This figure at most should probably be worth $150. You could definitely make the case that it looks really good and all that kind of stuff, but I don't think $200 is definitely more like reasonable for this figure, which is something that leads me to my final thoughts. I like this figure. I think it's looking really good. It has a lot of good assets and aesthetic choices, very well done. I didn't mention that it does kind of have like a blue hue to the actual wings. The hair is very nicely done with the actual transitioning of the coloring. And again, just the lingerie itself, a very different outfit than we are used to seeing. But again, the price is definitely the biggest factor in this situation. I think Big Bad Toy Store is the most expensive site at $250. Crunchyroll has it at $220. Other websites I think have it at like around $210-ish, $220-ish as well. So this figure is not cheap. So if I were you, I would just suggest waiting for this one when it's on sale. I can definitely expect this figure to still be available by next Black Friday. So if you are a fan of Albedo like myself, then I would just hold off on this one. Is it groundbreaking? No. Is it a perfect figure? No. I think it's a really good depiction of Albedo, especially with the sexy lingerie and everything like that, but it's definitely not worth the current price. Which leads me to my final score of a 7 out of 10. Now, there again, a lot of factors as to why I'm giving this a 7 out of 10. While I did get this on a sale, if I were paying the exact same price as I would have paid here in the US with imports and everything like that for $250, I would not have been happy with this figure. For $150, this figure is perfectly fine. It would go up to a 9. But I think it is a 7 due to the price alone. And again, just some preferential choices and just some sort of like nitpicks. Again, the wings don't really look the greatest. I actually think they are the weakest wings out of any Albedo figure that I own currently. Even the price figures that I own of Albedo have better looking wings in my opinion. But there are a lot of like free, aesthetic choices that they managed to do with this figure. Like I don't know what I'm talking about. What am I trying to say right now? Like creative choices. So a lot of creative choices with this figure, with the hair not really being super heavy, a lot of different strands instead of just bunches of hair. The wings being kind of thin in general. So again, just things that I thought I wanted to point out and all that sort of stuff. But yeah, overall, again, I think it's a great figure. It's a good figure, which is why I gave it a 7 out of 10. So instead of me just dragging on the video, that's pretty much all the time I have for you guys today. Let me know what you guys think about this figure. Do you like it? Do you not like it? Are you thinking of getting it? If you are, Are you going to wait until it is on sale, or are you going to buy it right now with the really hiked up price? But besides that, I will see you all in the next one. Bye-bye.